units. They are so very effective. If you watch WCS EU today, you know that they are very, very effective against those Colossi Death Balls. We will have Migrax, the blue Zerg, if I introduce the right player at the right time, saying that Terran's OP. Okay. I mean, Terran's pretty strong. They do have Hellbats and Widowmines that are brought into balance concerns a lot these days. And FIREMEDIC, he's just saying meh. He's busy being the top right Protoss, the red team. He's too busy to think about balance right now, especially of a race that is not in this matchup. But it's always nice to talk about the other races because they're annoying. I hate those Zerg players, even though I've been playing a lot of Zerg today. I hate those Protoss players because I haven't been playing Protoss today. I always hate Terran because I play a terrible Terran, so yeah, Terran's bad. Don't play that race. Shit. We will have Gateway on the way though, and this is the old style wall, sort of, kind of. This isn't even the right way to wall. But okay, and he's throwing down another pylon here as well, but you can get out of that. Usually you will see a pylon back here, a gateway, and a cybercore. Just because that is the standard wall off 4 Winds Liberty. Usually we don't see that anymore because facet spans are the latest fashion. But the spawning pool from Zerg will come out. The gas also going down. We'll probably see an expansion here soon as well. Calling out Zerg Rush, even though there's nothing really rushing. He's just being a funny guy. That's always nice. Probe down here was going to block the natural, but apparently not. We do have the extractor finishing up here soon, and that will allow him to start getting gas, probably for speed. Cybercore does start, and more probes being chrono boosted. We'll like to see what he elects to get with the gas that he's getting. I would assume speed, but I would also assume that he would have a hatchery out at the natural by now. Might be going for some kind of all-in play is possible, or just staying on one base for a while. Anything that works for you. I mean, it's your match to play. It's my game to cast. We will have the drone coming out here to mate the expansion though, and 2 Zerglings will make sure that there are no pesky probes around. This probe has actually started his way back home across the frozen wasteland that is Neoplanet S. I don't know why we're even fighting over this planet. It looks like a terrible place to live. Protoss not being the best decision makers, but hey, what can you expect from a race that makes Immortals? Something that can't shoot up. You could have just added some gears in there and everything would have been fine. But they prove time and time again that they are not as advanced as they say they are, and Zerg just takes everything over, so that's why they're here. That's the lore of Neoplanet S brought to you by none other than Apparition. We do have the layer halfway done. We do have the hatchery at the expansion also halfway done. That is a very early layer, especially since he was on one base for so long. That Zealot is going to be on hold position, and he will just cut this lane apart. Now he will cut the lane apart. Alright, double gateway here at the front. Warp gate is halfway done. This looks like a 4-gate? No, a 3-gate robo off of one base. And you don't do this anymore unless you're going for some really big all-in, and even then you don't really see this kind of play anymore because it's not very effective if Zerg just mates a few spines and a lot of lings, and they can always mate Zerglings. That is for sure. That is what I have learned, is that when in doubt, just try to run by with Zerglings, at least at the Platinum Diamond level as a Zerg player, because Zerglings just do magic, and they might do magic in this game as well. The Robo has finished, nothing being made out of it yet. Warp Gate will be finishing here soon as well. He should have that. He's selecting the gateways, but he's selecting them an hour ahead of time. Warp Gate's still about 5 seconds down or away, and he could be making probes. He could be setting out pylons. He could be making an expansion. An expansion would have been great a long time ago instead of setting out 2 pylons out here that he doesn't need right now. Queen being made at the natural though. Speed will be finishing up here soon. Spinecrawler also going down. And Immortal production of all things has started. Maybe going for, I don't know what he's going for. Like this is just him making units, I guess. And there's not even a rally point set. You definitely want to fix that just because it makes everything easier. Zerglings checking for hidden pylons or something. I'm not really sure what they're doing. But he will see this army with this random Zergling that is not attached by anything. And now, okay, that Zergling will die a very, very quick death to those Psi blades, And in response, he makes a total of no units. He does have 2 spines here at the front, and another one being made, and 4 lanes also being made. A pylon does go down, and that will allow him to warp in 3 more units, as well as have that immortal. If he brought the immortal with him, it'd be great, but instead he does not. That's going to hurt him at the end. And throwing down another pylon back here. What is he doing? Why did you throw down 2 pylons and leave? Apparently trying to take out a single Zergling over here. The Observer doing its job. It caught out 1 Zergling. GG. A couple of lanes moving across the map. Only a handful. A total of 4. Another Immortal on the way too, but he doesn't have any AoE damage, which can cause a bit of a problem. No Colossi started anytime soon. Burrow has been started though from our Zerg player. And the Lings have made it to the natural. There is nothing here to defend it except for these units warping in now. 3 Zealots will be more than enough to just run into the main of the Protoss to see what's all going on. He will not get any of the Zealots. That Zealot has literally 1 hit point left. That is just upsetting. Or 1 life point. You know what? It's hit points. We all played Pokemon, right? It's hit points. We'll have double assimilator at the natural for the Protoss player. He is up by a total of 12 supply. He is also up by 2 workers. And you never want to be down in workers as a Zerg player. Do have 2 Swarmhosts on the way, as well as the Enduring Locust upgrade. Evolve Enduring Locust. I didn't know that was the name of the upgrade. I figured that they would have like a cool name, like we have Pathogen Glands or Neural Parasite. Evolve Enduring Locust. Okay. More Immortals on the way, more Gateways on the way, still no AoE, so if he does go for the Swarmhost play, there will be a lot of issues for our Protoss player very soon, because you need the AoE to blow through the Locust and then get to the Swarmhost. I would also not be surprised if we saw some kind of Nidus play, and usually if you have all these spines, you will have a lot of creep spread, so that way you can slowly get to the Protoss's base and be very well defended against any form of counterattack. We will see something like that hopefully soon. Those Swarmhosts are very, very good, and they will be scouted though, as well as the nice wall of spines, as well as 1 Spore being protected in case of any form of Dart Templars going in, but that will not be the case. Zerglings going out will kill off these pylons. Might not know about this one. We will see. Warp Prism has been started though, and that's the way I think Swarmhost should be dealt with, is just dropping and warping in things wherever you can that the Swarmhosts are not at, especially if there's a mass of the unit, just because they can't be in multiple places at once. They send their Locust out, and then they are stuck like that for at least 25 seconds. I don't know the spawn rate on Locust. Looks like they have a 25-second cooldown, but it takes a few seconds for them to spawn, so there is a little bit of time where there are no Locusts on the field, I believe. Hydra Den also on the way, Evo Chamber on the way as well. That will allow him to get those upgrades. Also going for the Spire, all on 2 base. I don't really like that, because that is a lot of gas being put into buildings now, and units that will not be used anytime soon, because he won't have a nice amount of them anytime soon. More Stalkers, more Immortals, and this is not how you want to handle this at all. You want to get AoE as soon as possible. He does finally start his Robo Bay. He does have the Twilight Council also on the way. Would have liked to have seen that out a lot sooner for both of those structures, but no, he wanted to go for a lot of Immortals. Does start a Forge now. We'll start getting those upgrades. No upgrades for our Zerg player just yet. He just have 2 more Swarmhosts on the way, and he does not have... Well, this Ling will see this army moving out, and the Swarmhost will want to bury probably somewhere in the back of the mineral line. I think would be their best bet, just because that would mean that they were safe with the spines here, and they could be in a relevant position, let's say. But the Protoss maybe not even moving out. He is just clearing space. He will get his Robotic Spay on the field. He will get his Twilight Council out, and this is a thing that has been basically forgotten, where if you keep pushing out, then the Zerg can't be making units because he can't be making drones because he's making units to defend against your pushes. But instead, he does use those old tactics, and he does set up his own third after making the Zerg probably a little bit afraid. But at the end of the day, Zerg isn't making too much in the first place. Has a total of 9 Swarmhosts, I believe. Yes, does not have the Nidus Canal or the Nidus Network, whatever. I thought it was a canal. I don't know. I don't know why it's really a canal in the first place. It doesn't... But that is enough of that. I do have Colossi on the way, +1 on the way for our Protoss player, as well as a second forge, and the +1 range attack for those Swarmhosts is also on the way, and he's just massing Swarmhosts. We'll speed this up just a bit to see what he intends to do with these. And the lanes have gone into the natural, will not go, they will go into the main, okay. They will see everything here. They probably won't snipe too much, might get a probe or two. We'll see the forge going down as well as the upgrades. And I don't think any probes have been killed. Possibly one is trying to get a second desperately, but that is not going to work. A little bit of creep spread has happened in the meantime, though. Third base for Protoss will finish up soon. Zerd still on that 2-base play. That is not where you want to be, but it looks like he might be moving out with his Swarm Host here soon, or might be at least securing that third base with those Swarm Hosts here soon. Either way would be very, very deadly for our Protoss player. Protoss has 1 Colossi and +1 upgrades. The extended thermal lances will be done by the time these Lotus get here, I presume. And charge helps, but it also means your Zealots are just trying to go and throw themselves away at these units, because Swarm Hosts just destroy Zealots at a rate that is just sickening. I hate Swarm Host as a Protoss player because they just destroy your gateway units without really, I mean, they don't cost anything. This is all free damage if it gets past the shields, and there they go. The Zealots will all die to these. Yeah, all the Zealots that were up there. And so that was just free, and now more free damage is on the way. This is why I hate this unit. 3 Hydralisk here to defend against whatever could come from this Warp Prism. Looks like only 1 Zealot is inside of that Warp Prism. Here come the Lotus, though, killing the rest of the Zealots. A few more are in the back, killing off a sentry as well, so they are already paying for themselves slowly but surely. And these Zealots warp in right when the Lotus spawns, so that means that that warp-in is completely wasted from the Protoss player. The Observer, wow. Observer also being taken out for free. And there is a second Observer, but it's flying right to the Overseer. Why? So he has no detection over here at all, and he doesn't even make just another Observer. The Warp Prism is taken out, and now these Lotus will keep doing a lot of free damage. Does almost get a second sentry here. These Hydralisks are not in a good spot. They are not burrowed like the rest. You don't want to run over your Swarm Host, though, because they will still take area of effect damage from those Colossi. It looks like at least one of the Immortals will get taken out, though, and as well as the Stalker. The Locusts don't move too fast, but they will slowly but surely get up to this Protoss army. Could see the Swarm Host moved up a little bit closer, but even then, they do last for a very long time. 25 seconds allows them to get very far very quickly, but not to where they need to be in this case. Definitely want to pit these up, but that is not what he's going to go for right now. A lot of lanes being made, still only on 2 base. Protoss is on 3 base, but he's not using his 3rd base at all. He's also down by about 17 supply. I don't know what this Hydralisk is doing. That is not going to be very effective at all. Swarm Host will continually push in and maybe get, what, 75 health done to the first building. And now another Observer is here. He's not flying straight into an Overseer this time. That's always a nice move. That is the first thing that he needs to do here, is not fly into an Overseer. The creep has started, though, and there is the Overseers back here. So if he doesn't just keep throwing his Hydralisk away, he could snipe off the Observer again and leave all of his Swarm Hosts very, very well protected. That is not the case. The Locusts are hitting the Colossi now as a couple of lanes, and if there's no AoE damage, then the Protoss can't do anything against this. He does lose all of his army to the Locust and a couple of lanes, and now Zerd is just going to keep pushing in on here. There's only 2 Colossi, and they are just moving out by themselves. Please pull those back. Yes, he does. 9 Swarm Hosts are on the way, though. If he just put those in a different direction, or really if he just did anything, put them closer, anything would be very good for our Zerd player right now. He's in a great spot. And do they actually move faster on creep too? I don't know. I can't. Okay, yeah, they definitely do. I did not know if the Lotus got the speed boost on creep like the other Zerd units. I was going to say that does help get them there sooner as well, but it's not going to necessarily be enough because they do still have a pretty long travel distance. Here comes the drones, though, and usually this is why you would see a Nidus network, because it would allow these drones to get here a lot sooner. But all these spines and spores being set up will definitely help against any counterattack that Protoss wants to throw at this. So slowly but surely it can get in here and deal some damage. And instead, these Locusts won't even start hitting the buildings. Even just taking out gateways would be a nice thing to do here. This base has started making workers, and they are not rallied. So those probes are doing nothing. 3 observers out at a time. That means he has 3 robos on the field at a time, but he's not making colossi because he doesn't have any gas. He has these geysers both only on 1 worker at a time. These geysers are both also on 1 worker at a time. What are you doing, Protoss? That is not good. I don't know why more Swarmhosts are buried in the back, just because that means that they will definitely not be doing anything. A few of them are actually sent to kill off this pylon, though. Maybe that was the intention, and I just didn't realize that. Third base will be finishing up for Zerd, and he will actually be using his third to an effective point, the Protoss only having a handful of drones at that base. And I don't know why you would move out with only Zealots and 2 Colossi. There are so many Locusts here, and they will just clean up everything yet again. Some lanes in here will also be very helpful. And with the amount of spores and spines, the Observer does go down. The Observer fleet goes down very quickly. He just threw away, he made 4 Observers and lost them all instantly. That is not how you play against this. That will make him in a very, very bad position. The Zealots are attacking the front Locust and the Crawlers. That means that they will all be taken down very quickly as well. This is all just free damage. These Swarmhosts getting so many kills, all of them having at least 2 to... Well, that one has 1. He's the... Well, okay, now, not all of them. Either way, though, and he will start hitting the Colossi. He did not pull the Colossi back, so 1 Colossi dead, the other one falling very quickly. And Protoss can't do anything to defend against this. He does just leave. He rage quits out because he is just upset at Swarmhost as a whole. But what he could have done, he could have just walked around the other side of the map with some Zealots. He could have taken a Warp Prism down here and dropped in the main. Didn't even have to worry about these spines. But no, he decided to just headstrong push into this twice, maybe even 3 times. I might have forgotten once. And he just died every single time. You don't want to throw your 4 observers into a massive spore crawlers either. That was a big mistake right there in itself. But either way, good game from Mr. Migrax, showing the power of the Swarmhost, so thank you for that replay.